Okay, so our meeting is on. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join the session today. As you can see, we are like a team of 4 people from Climate-KIC who want to share some info about the ClimAccelerator program. This is the first info session out of the 2 that we are having. So it's already like 5 minutes past 8:30 at least for the Central European. So let's start. I'm Alex Duznikopoulos. I'm Entrepreneurship Programs Manager for the ClimAccelerator program in Europe and in Asia. And of course, I will pass it on to Morten, Carla, and Krista if they haven't already introduced themselves. So a bit about the agenda today. So Krista, we can move to the next one. So first of all, why we are here? Because we are looking in Climate-KIC, we're looking for new partners to collaborate with us on the program, the ClimAccelerator program. Today, we'll go through all the details that you need to know, what we offer, of course, and then in Climate-KIC about the program, what it's in for you, what it's in for the startups, and of course, what you need to do in order to be eligible and also follow us for the ClimAccelerator program and initiative. As we will repeat multiple times throughout the session, the deadline for this expression for this call is the 14th of September at 8 Central European time. Also, it's the same thing for Central Singapore as well time. So a few things about the agenda. We'll start with introduction to EIT Climate-KIC, what we're doing, some other in general, our position in the ecosystem. This will be like Morten. Then we will dive into the inside of ClimAccelerator. This will be Carla, and then application and procedures, a bit more the technical steps about what you need to know about the whole procedure. This will be me, and then of course I will give it back to you so you can ask us questions, and of course go through everything that you need to know at least from your side. So let's begin. I will pass it to Morten, I think. So yeah, thank you so much again, and enjoy the session.
Thank you very much, Alexandros, and hello everyone. My name is Morten Kildal-Sorensen. I'm the Strategic Programs Officer at the EIT Climate-KIC and focusing within what we call entrepreneurship and the climate accelerators, both in Europe and in Asia. I'm going to give you a short introduction to the EIT Climate-KIC and what we are doing. I think it's important also for you to use the chat if you have any questions, and there's the possibility to ask questions also afterwards, and we will share the slides to the ones that have participated in the webinar. So EIT Climate-KIC, we are a European organization. We are what is called a climate innovation agency, and we're focusing on system transformation and what we call changing place-based solutions, but also globally changing. And this is not just small incremental changes, but actually doing complete changes of systems. And here, this we cannot only do on our own, we need to do that together. So what we have specialized in is what we call radical transformation. And we use a very simple term called system innovation. And this is where we connect the different innovations, so the small incremental changes that we see from innovative startups, to then also connecting with some of the bigger demand owners, but also across the different partners to connect these. And this is the transformation of places, but also within what we call the place-based transitions. As I was mentioning, we do not do this on our own. We do that in partnership with different partners that we have. We use different solutions, of course, tools, and we are also keen on what is maybe the most important part, to make sure that the innovative solutions, they are then funded and can scale to become the new solutions that are implemented. So we have a short overview of what we call our partner networks. So we are working, of course, on a global scale with some of the bigger organizations. We have our pan-European with the European Commissions. Then we also focused on the countries, and mainly also in Europe, the cities, we see a lot of demand from the cities coming in. And then, of course, the corporates and industries then can support in actually scaling these solutions. Next slide. So from the beginning of this year, we have been focused on the Climate-KIC that we have implemented in different parts of the world, where we are working with what we call delivery partners or entrepreneurship support organizations. As you can see on this map, we're very active in Europe and in Africa. We are starting also to ramp up in terms of Latin America and in Asia, where we see a lot of demand for scaling innovative solutions. Next slide. So a little bit of our track records. We were one of the first, what is called KICs that were implemented by EIT. And since for the last 15 years, we have been scaling or supporting more than 6,000 climate positive startups. We have done that together with partners, and we have been able also to attract investments to the startup for more than 12 billions. Our partner network is rather big. We have more than 320 partners, and this has been creating more than 10,000 jobs within the startups and scale-ups we have supported. And I have to admit that these numbers, they are from 2017. Yeah, so maybe just going a little bit into when we talk about entrepreneurship, what do we mean by entrepreneurship and climate entrepreneurship at EIT Climate-KIC? So what we are working on, or what we're offering, you could also say, is 3 different areas or narratives where we are focusing on capacity building, where we are providing, you could say, technical support to all our partner networks. We use peer-to-peer learnings as well, and making sure that the place-based solutions are then also, if possible, scaled to a global level. We also have the venture scaling, where there is a lot of skills required to the startups in order to make sure that their innovation can actually be utilized. Here we have a strong focus on making sure that it is actually a climate positive impact in terms of CO2 savings. And then the last part is the innovation clusters, where we're focusing on the ecosystems, and across the different levels of innovators, we then engage with the different stakeholders. So I think this is a very classical one, where we have from the in ideation, we're focusing on climate funds. We have the climate launchpads, and then we have the Climate-KIC program that we will dig a little bit deeper into today, that is focusing on the acceleration of startups. We have then also created what we call an investment pipeline, where we have a marketplace where we're engaging with different investors that can then support both in scaling, and we are also setting up for the startups that have the right climate positive solutions, the 1.5 fund that will invest directly into climate positive startups. Next line. So just to put it very simple, the entrepreneurship supports is very starting from the beginning with the ideation support, then from developing the mentorship and the climate impact measurements. We also have a keen focus on making sure that we have a gender balance, and we're supporting our partners and making sure that the innovative startups are supported without being biased. As mentioned, we're doing this through our network with different partners at different levels, and Today, we're focusing a lot on the intermersive support organizations, or at brief expressed ESOs. And the maybe the last or most important part often for us and for the startups and our partners is, so who is funding this? And we have a wide range of different parties that are keen on supporting climate positive startups. And we do this together with partners to engage with these in order for them to understand how they can be supportive in supporting the startups. So I think that's it for me. I will pass the word to Carla.
Thank you, Martin. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Carla. I've been working with Climate-KIC since 2019. And it's been very interesting to see it scale from a European program to an international program, as you saw it now on the map, and especially now to spread it more to Southeast Asia, hopefully as well. I will introduce you to the ClimAccelerator program. And I know it's been a lot of information already, so we will share the slides, as Martin said already before, so you can come back to everything if you have missed anything. So here is a part of our big team. Some of us you already know from the call here. We have Yasmina as well, who is our climate impact advisor. Amido, who is focusing on the investment management. Krista, you already know here from the call. She's our communication manager. And Wallace, she's focusing on the gender programs that we have. Next slide. Our ClimAccelerator program is running for more than 10 years already now, and we are implementing it with the support of partners on the ground and running both theme-based and place-based programs that are running in local contexts. We are supporting startups with both resources, knowledge, network, and the funding that they need to successfully kickstart and scale their solutions. And we have delivered over 100 programs already and supported over 2,500 startups, and those have collectively raised more than 3.5 billion euros of external funding, which we are really proud of. Our program is usually set up in 3 stages. The first stage is focused on business model development and also on the partner getting to know the startup better and going through the first stages of their business. The second stage is focused on customer traction, so for the startups to go out into the world and ask their customers for feedback. And then the third stage is focused on investor readiness, getting the startups ready to raise external funding. What it takes to run a ClimAccelerator program is for you to integrate our ClimAccelerator branding in all your materials and to use as much of the core DNA of the ClimAccelerator as possible. So that means, for example, incorporating these 3 stages that I just talked about, and also incorporating some of the materials that we will introduce to you in a minute. It will also mean that you use the climate impact tool to select your startups that you want to support, that you share your startup and climate impact data with us at the end of each program, and that you connect your local community to our global network. And also we have a network of ESOs, as we call them, entrepreneurship support organizations that come together regularly and share best practices. So it would mean that you would also participate in these sessions and share your best practices. And if you're not convinced already, then a few reasons why you should do it. First of all, our brand is connected to the EU and to EIT Climate-KIC and might give you visibility and credibility, and your accelerator becomes part of a bigger story. Tools, we have a lot of different tools that you're able to use as part of our ClimAccelerator community. For example, program management tools, different kind of handbooks, coaching and mentoring networks, and also learning modules that I will talk about in a minute. You will be able to use our climate impact tool to assess and validate the climate impact data of your startups and give them the credibility that they need as well. Then community, you will be part of our global community and get access to a global sourcing of startups. You will thereby increase your reach on a global level, and you will be able to connect your local agents to our global community. You will take part in the peer-to-peer learning, as I already mentioned, as part of the community of ESOs, and also learning of the other programs and of the other partners. And lastly, you will gain scaling assistance through our 1.5 pipeline and 1.5 funds, the Climate Safe, and more. I already mentioned the modules a few times, so there's different kind of modules. Some of them are for you as an ESO, and some are for your startups that you're supporting. We are continuously developing new modules, but that is the status as it is right now. So we have modules on gender mainstreaming, for example, gender one-on-one for ESOs, or a gender climate entrepreneurship toolkit for entrepreneurship support organizations. We have different kind of modules under systems and system thinking, paradigm shift, etc. Then general ESO topics like a MEL framework or ClimAccelerator strategies, and a full curriculum as well, which is the Pre-Accelerator handbook. And then there's modules for your startups that you're able to use. So there's different kind of modules on climate and environment, on systems, on impact, on circularity, gender as well. So there's another handbook also for startups on gender mainstreaming, then also general business topics and other kind of topics like startup mental health. I already mentioned the climate impact assessment a few times before. So climate impact is at the core of all our entrepreneurship programs, and we offer you a suite of different kind of services for measuring, forecasting, and monitoring the startup's social and environmental impact. The first part of this assessment is the climate impact hypothesis, which is a very early stage overview of the startup's climate impact. And this one is mandatory for all startups participating in a ClimAccelerator program. So if you're deciding to become part of our community, you would have all your startups do a climate impact hypothesis for selecting them. And we will also assist you in the process. And then there's following up, there's more detailed kind of assessments and validations. So there's a climate impact validation and coaching with an external expert or an expert, climate impact expert, that will coach your startups on getting a more concrete climate impact validation. And then the startup will also receive a report that they can then share with their investors or with stakeholders. And you can also procure this whole climate impact. Can you go back for this? Sorry. You can procure all these services on top, but the climate impact hypothesis is included if you're a ClimAccelerator organizer. Okay, next slide. Thanks. We are recognizing the importance of gender equality in our programs because we believe that only inclusive and gender equal climate action can actually achieve the transformational change that we need to tackle the climate crisis. So we are working with all our partners and the startups to eliminate gender bias from our programs the best possible. So we are supporting you in working on your outreach materials, on assessing your selection process, and to increase the opportunities for women-led ventures to take part in your program and access to finance. Our target is to achieve at least 35% women-led startups in the programs and increasing this number slowly over the years to 50%. And we also want to ensure the inclusivity of non-binary and other marginalized groups to take part in our programs through communication, marketing, and strategic planning. And you can see the handbook here on the site that I already mentioned before. You can find this on the internet, and we can also share the links, or you can access it through these slides here. And then lastly, on branding and promotion. So we will help you increase your visibility with your program if you're part of our community. So that means we will provide you with a brand guide with a digital toolkit for organizers, with different kind of social media and web page templates. And you will also be able to use our logo with the EU flag included. And we are helping you by promoting your open calls on our channels, for example, on our LinkedIn channel, by sharing your announcements, for example, your calls for startups on our alumni newsletter or in our Climate Hive startup group. We will list your program on our website where all the programs are listed. And Krista is also here to support you if you're writing any kind of articles or blogs. She's happy to provide you with feedback. Thanks from my hand, and I think I'll pass over to Alex.
Great. Thank you, Carla. Yes, now that everything that you have, now that you have like a bit of a round information about like what we're doing in the program, what we're doing in the Climate-KIC, let's dive directly to the practical steps of the procedure and the open call. The first one is about the theme. As Morten and Carla already like pointed out, we have a mission, and this mission is no other than build the world's foremost climate accelerators. For this expression of interest, we have selected three thematic areas for our partners, like for you. The first one is agriculture. Agriculture stands on the front line of climate impact and adaptation, where innovation is not just necessary, but also imperative. Agriculture is not only essential for feeding the world's growing population, but also plays a critical role in mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Within this theme, various subsectors emerge as focal points for innovation. And for example, here we have regenerative farming, sustainable supply chains, smart crop breeding, soil health enhancement, and of course we can include more and more. For example, water management, renewable energy integration, and circular economy models and practices. The second one is the blue economy. The blue economy is a critical frontier for sustainable development in order to keep healthy our oceans healthy and the coastal communities still relevant. As you can see, directly there are like 7 other key areas that they are eligible, such as fisheries and aquaculture, marine renewable energy, coastal ecosystem restoration, and maritime support. Lastly, we have the industrial decarbonization, which involves reducing carbon emissions across all sectors of society, from energy production to transportation. There are 3 main areas here: the direct greenhouse gas emissions, such as clean energy, electrification. The second one is the indirect greenhouse gas emissions, energy efficiency, materials innovation. And the last one, which is the removal, such as capture, storage, synthesis, and so on. Of course, if some of the actions fall into other subsectors of these 3 main areas, are eligible, and we are more than willing to discuss with you about the structure and the whole plan. After the theme, we have some organizers criteria. Who are you? Who is eligible, in other words? The leadership support organizations are, as Carla and Morten already pointed out, you can be either accelerators, incubators, venture builders, hubs, co-working spaces with innovation work, universities, or a combination, as we call it, consortium applications. We understand that it takes a lot to run this program, so we are more than open to collaborate with you, your partners, and of course, deal with this program as a consortium. For this core of inspection windows, we have selected a number of countries and regions. In Asia, it's Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Laos, Nepal, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Australia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. So I think this is one of the most important slides for you. There are 2 slides where you will been through everything that you need to know. The first one is integrate the ClimAccelerator branding in your materials. As Carla already pointed out, the branding and the communication support from our side is extremely important. So we expect the same. I expect you to put on the same focus on this one. We offer a number of specific templates and guidelines, so everything is ready and set for you. The second one is use as much of the 3-stage model DNA as possible, as Carla already pointed out. The third one is to offer a standalone program with a unique name and scope and theme. For example, as was pointed out before, we said that now your accelerator, your program is going to be part of a bigger story, and this is the way to do it. The timeline. You are expected to commence in 2024, in Q3 or Q4 of this year, or in the beginning 2024. And what do we mean about commence? Just to open the call and start searching for startups. Mentioning startups, we want to support a minimum of 7 in each program and batch in order to deliver the climate positive impact at scale. The startups, and this is something that it's really important for our programs, the startups must be incorporated and registered in your country. Moving forward, the climate impact. We need you and all of the startups to report clear impact calculations from all the supported startups, the climate impact hypothesis. The first stage, as Carla already pointed out. Then we need the reporting. We need you to share the core data about the accepted startups and feedback about the program. Then we have the community and brand. We are going to increase the reach of the ClimAccelerator by promoting the brand in your local context and ecosystem. Of course, this is something that goes both ways, because we're going like to do the same for you, organization, and other initiatives that you run. Lastly, all official communication must be conducted in English. Of course, we can have like a program that both runs and publish in the country in your local language, but all the official communication, for example, on LinkedIn or the official call documents, must be in English in order to help you as well by promoting in our channels. Then we have the evaluation criteria. The criteria that the moment that we receive the application, we're going like to evaluate and set aside. There are like 5 mains, as you can see. All of them are compulsory, and there's like a threshold of 3 out of 6. The first one is the excellence, and that refers to the clarity and personality of the objectives, and to the extent to which your proposed plan and work is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art. We need to provide innovative ClimAccelerators, and this is the way to do it. And then we have the impact. The impact is credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes and impact. Then, of course, this is aligned also to the previous 2. We have the uniqueness, the specific added value of the program, both short-term and also like long-term with the startups and post support for all these startups. Then we have the portfolio strategic fit. We need you to be compliant with our financial sustainability principles and knowledge triangle integration. As we will share all the slides, you will see the link so we can dive a bit more into this. Pretty much in a nutshell, to move forward and to have the same targets all along the program. The last one, which in our eyes, this is like the most important criteria, is the financial sustainability. For this round, EIT Climate-KIC does not provide any funds, so it's really important to see that you have the capacity to cover the expenses, allocate all the resources effectively, and demonstrate financial preparedness for sustainable implementation. Of course, that lies also for all your resources in order to do and deliver the job, but also at the same time to cover all the expenses for running the program, and also if there is also the possibility to give some grants to the startups as well. Besides the evaluation criteria, we have something what we call voluntary revenue share. In order to support all your organizers around the world in running the ClimAccelerators, all the tools and all the resources that Carla mentioned before, all this work requires significant resources from outside. EIT Climate-KIC is responsible for acquiring these resources, and for that reason, we have came up with this mechanism, which is what we call the voluntary revenue share. As you can see, there are like 4 scales based on your annual program turnover, and you are strongly recommended to share a bit of your revenue with us. As you can see, it starts from the 25,000 and it's above 100,000 euros. The voluntary invoice, in case that you are willing to share the revenue with us, will be sent early in the program, but also based on the end of year reporting, as I mentioned earlier in the year. In other cases, such as joint fundraising efforts, we have the means to support you in the whole process. Tailor-made agreements by EIT Climate-KIC and ClimAccelerator organizers can be made. Now, just like to sum up about this in the next steps, as I said in the beginning of the call, the deadline of the program is the 14th of September. All this assessment will be based on the evaluation criteria that I explained above, and the partners that we're going to select will be set up an introductory call. We call it interview, but we want to be a bit more formal and just have a discussion about the plan and what you want to do through this program. So for the selected ones will be at least 1 introductory call, but for the rejected ones, you will be given comprehensive feedback, of course, based on the evaluation criteria that I mentioned. After that, and with partners that we select to move on, there will be onboarding sessions to explain all the system, to explain all the tools that we offer, and of course, start connecting you with the rest of the community. All this you can find in our own page on Notion, what we call welcome package information. So thank you so much for everyone. At least I think this is the time where we're going to give it back to you for questions. I would like to take that if there's something. I will post a number of relevant links in the chat. The most important, of course, is the ample light today, as you saw in the slide. So thank you, everyone. So we're just like going to open the discussion at the moment and see if you have like any question. Thank you so much.
We already have a question from Shadiq from the Energy Academy Indonesia. He's wondering if he can apply and submit one proposal within the 3 themes or apply more than one proposal to different themes.
Great. So I can answer that. First of all, thank you for the introduction, Siddiq. That it's great. I think there's also like an email. So yes, there are 3 themes. What we have been doing like so far is that like one institution focus only on one theme, one proposal, because as I said, all this program, from the moment of the preparation until the official closure with the demo day of the program, is something that requires resources. So we need to make sure that you can cover everything. But if you think that your Energy Academy Indonesia and also your team behind and all your network can support 3 proposals at the moment, we are more than happy to discuss it with you to understand all the different dynamics. So there's like no restriction around this, but we need like to make sure that the financial sustainability is there. All they will have like a similar structure. So yeah, thank you for this. Nothing binding, but we need like to make sure that we prioritize the quality over the quantity in every case. No problem.
Any other questions? Don't be shy. Omar.
Thank you so much. It was really a nice, informative presentation, and thank you for having me here. So I have just little bit of confusion. I need to clarify that regarding the you said that the organizer or the service provider, they all need to pay for the program by themselves, right? Or is it just like another service providing activity where a donor or other agency will gonna pay us to run the program, or do we need to run the program by our own money? Secondly, regarding the grant, right? You said you have to support 7 startups, right? The grant for those startups should come from your end, or this is what we need to manage that from our end? I have this question. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So who wants to take it? I can answer, but if you want Morten and Carla, please. Please. So yeah, I think I can answer that. Omar, thank you so much. Yeah, as I said, for this listed for these programs, we do not provide any grants. So this is something that lies with your organization and your team. We do not provide any grants for the startups either. So of course, as you said, this is like one option for you, for your organization, to pay with your own funds. But as I said, what we've been doing in the past is that we want like to help you with the fundraising process, and that means send you maybe a recommendation letter from our side. Also, in some cases, we are more than happy to participate in some discussion with the potential partners. But in the end of the day, you can apply along with another like partner of yours. You can apply as a consortium in order not only like to split the cost, but also like to gain a bit more visibility in the area. So it's been something that it has been like around for many partners around the world to apply collectively 2 or maybe like 3 organizations in some cases. So we're more than happy, but of course, like during the application, we need to make sure that you can provide like sufficient information about who are the other organizations, who are like these partners that you want like to collaborate with. So everyone be on the same page, and also like share these tools and all these like resources that we have with them as well.
Yeah, and maybe if I can just add to what you were saying, Alexandros, is that our usually suggestion is to be careful not to overscale for the first program, to make it realistic. And then also considering if you are selected as a partner, you become part of our partner network and you work with peers in order to exchange views in terms of fundraising, best practices. So there is a lot of advantages as soon as you get part of the partner network. However, for the first program, be realistic. It is correct that one of the criteria is to support 7 startups as a minimum. However, better to support 10 than support 100 for the first batch.
So, but there was a threshold of 25k euro, right? Can you just clarify me this part too? Yeah, I think there's one slide where 25 euro is required for run the program, right? There's a one slide that I saw. Can you just clarify me that? Yeah, this one, the voluntary revenue share. Yeah.
Yeah. So Omar, this depends to your resource that you are managed to acquire for the program. So this is not something that we are providing. It's pretty much the opposite, where we say that based on the program turnover that you're going like to make through all this fundraising process, all these discussions with the other partners, is something that we will ask as Climate-KIC, that if there is like room to share a bit of the revenue share with us for providing all these tools and resources from our side, it will be highly appreciated in the end of the year.
Yeah, I got the idea. And that is a single year project, not a multi-year project, right?
Excuse me, that is?
This is a single 1 year project, not a multi-year project, right? The program is a 1 year program.
Yes,
or
yes.
6 months, 6 months or 1 year program, not a multi-year.
Exactly. So it's like per batch, like in this case, yes.
Okay. In terms of fundraising, especially fundraising from donors or other agencies, right? That can be donors or might be from private equity, right? If we got selected for the first round after submitting the UI, can we apply for that for donors or other private equity firm by collaborating with you, or we have to do separately by ourselves? Because in the proposal we need to showcase that we have a partner, right? We have a partner, we're going to launch this program. So can we use you as one of partner to showcase the investor? Look, I'm launching a program that and Climate-KIC is one of my partner, and we have been shortlisted. And can we use that communication while speaking to the investor?
So, Omar, that's something that has like many different aspects. The first one is the timeline. So, from the moment that you're going to submit the proposal, and the moment that this round is closed, so after the 14th of September, it will take approximately for us like 2 weeks to select the partners. In case that you have been selected, then you will be invited to an introductory call, an interview. And in case that you pass this as well, in case that you show us that you have like a strong plan structure, then we will be sending to you a memorandum of understanding, which pretty much will state the way that we're going to collaborate like from now on. So from the moment that we have this memorandum of understanding between us, then yes, you can use also like a letter, as I said, like from our side, stating that we are willing to collaborate on the ClimAccelerator program. So yes, the short answer is yes, but as you see, there are like many different stages. So it's like the application process, the selection process, and then of course signing a memorandum of understanding with us. So the moment that we have this, then yes, we can support you with the whole process.
Thank you so much, Alexandros. You have been truly clear for me, and thank you so much. And sorry for asking too much question.
Of course,
Okay.
no problem at all.
Thank you for your question. We have another one in the chat about elaborating on the criteria and evaluation. I'll go to this slide.
It's the previous, yeah. So I don't know if you have like any specific like question said. So, but as I said, there are like 5 main criteria, which as I already like said to Omar, it will be taking us around like 2 weeks to evaluate each proposal differently. So of course, the first one, which is like not here, but it was mentioned like in the slides before, it's eligibility of the countries. So you have like to be in one of the aforementioned countries, like in this case, and then we have these 5 criteria. These 5 criteria, it's the excellence, the impact, the uniqueness. So all the very first like 3, it's something that we need like to see from your application about how unique is your program. If you have like already like structured like a plan about like how to support all the startups, how you're going to expect all these outcomes, and of course, if your program is like really innovative, if you are keeping up with the state of like work and the technology as well. So these are the main 3 components in the beginning in order to understand like a bit better what's your plan and of course what's your experience as well. Then we have the EIT Climate-KIC portfolio strategic fit. We need to see that you're going where we want to go in this case. As I said earlier, we're going like to share this slide so you can click this link, the Climate-KIC strategic agenda from 2021 to 2027. We have also a new plan, let's call it like this, as the EIT as organization. So we need like to see that you're moving towards like the same directions that we're moving as well. The last one, as I said, is the most important one because that secures the whole program. It's the financial sustainability. As we discussed with Omar before, we do not provide any funds, and unfortunately, as Climate-KIC. So this is something that you need to show to us that you have the resources and that you have the team behind to cover all the expenses, to allocate all the resources efficiently, and of course to show us that you are ready for the program. So for that reason, I'd just like to repeat again because it's extremely important. You can apply with another like partner. We can apply with other partners or someone from your network that you know and trust, in order not only to split the cost and also like to allocate all these resources for mentoring, for coaching, for example, or the marketing campaign, but also to gain more visibility. So we're quite open like to these to joint applications, to consortium applications, in order like to move forward. So these are the main 5 criteria that we're looking for in all of our partners. All these are compulsory, and there is like a threshold of 3 out of 6. So you need like to score a minimum of 3. So it will take us around like 2 weeks in order like to get back to you, either like to give you a comprehensive like feedback, so where you're liking for and why, or to invite you to introductory call and interview.
Thank you so much. Sorry again, I have
Please, Omar.
2 other questions. Yeah, thank you. So first thing, in the consortium, right? Can a private equity firm or SME firm, can they apply?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
A private equity firm or SME firm, right? Can they apply, or a VC firm? Can they apply for the program? In a consortium, right? In a consortium, if there is one VC firm, venture capital, one external partner, okay, and some NGO, can a consortium like that can be built? Do you have any restriction that any
No,
assessment
Omar. Yes, of course,
cannot apply?
Yes, of course, you can apply, but there are like two things. The first one, the two things that you need like to keep in mind. The first one is that you need like to be in the front. So we need like one organization to be like the main organizer that we're going like to exchange all this information and work together. So we need someone like to be in the front. So your organization will be in the front. So this is like the first thing, the first aspect. The second thing is that during application, we already like ask a series of questions about like who are these partners, how are we going like to support you in this program, if it's going like to be what kind of resources are they going like to give you, for example, if it's going like to be just funds or some of people to deliver some of the sessions, for example. So it really depends on what type of collaboration. So we'll be asking those in order to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And of course, it's also a matter of ethics from our side as well. So we need to know where you're collaborating with. For example, we cannot start like a climate accelerator like program and work with an oil company, for example, just because they have the financial capacity to recover. So this is like the main two aspects. So we need to know who is behind for you, what type of support, and then at the same time, we need someone like to be in the front to support like one main organization, but still, of course, comply with all the branding, everyone with the logo, and so on. So yeah, short answer is yes, but we need like to make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Okay, thank you. And so second question is, during the submission of the EOI, do you need to submit our balance sheet, income assessment of each organization? So it's our financial sustainability.
No, as part of the financial, if you mean the financial like records and so on, no, we do not like want like to see like financial like, statements in this sense, but just like to describe to us how financial prepared you are, if you're willing to allocate some resources. Of course, if you have a specific number that would also you cannot please like mention it, because you could also like get our opinion if the number is sufficient, if it's realistic or not. So no, we do not require like specific like official documents, but at the same time we need like specific like details about the program. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Omar. I think we have one more question from Gabish about the scaling assistance. So we mentioned on one of the slides the 1.5 pipeline and 1.5 funds. Could we explain that a little more?
Yeah, I can maybe explain this one. So in terms of all the startups that we have supported, more than 6,000, what we've seen is often the issue is with actually attracting the investors then to continue investing into these startups. So what we have developed is what we call the 1.5 pipeline or the investment pipeline, where we have our investors on a global scale that are then matched with the startups that are interested in attracting investments to their innovative solutions. So this is focused on the startup and scale-ups within your program that get not only access to a local investor, but also to global investors. The 1.5 funds is what we are setting up at the moment. They are focusing on where EIT Climate-KIC is one of the partners, and we are there focusing on investing directly into the most innovative solutions. So again here, the startups that are part of our Climate Accelerator programs, they have to some extent a little bit of a fast track in order to make sure that they are actually getting the investments. And that is also wherefore that we want to invest in the most innovative solutions, not just to let them die in the valley of death, as was very well known in the past. We're trying to overcome this by setting up the different elements in order to make sure that they succeed.
Thanks, Morten. Any other questions before we wrap up? Again, we'll be sharing the slides with everyone this afternoon, and we also have additional information on the ClimAccelerator website. We have a dedicated page for the open call. If you have that handy, Alex, maybe we could share it in the chat. There's some additional frequently asked questions on there. In any case, I can also share it in the follow-up email.
Of course. So this is the dedicated page that Krista is talking about. Here you can find like all the information, some of the information that we said like already. And then this link will also like redirect you to the application form as well, and the official document where you can find like some like more information and details about the program.
Okay, I think we'll wrap up then.
Great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we look forward to receiving your application.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Thank you,
afternoon.
everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.